4, 3, 2, 1.
Cue music.
This is Movies First with Alex First.
Mary Shelley is a melodramatic story centred around the young female author of one of the world's most famous Gothic novels, Frankenstein, and her fiery, tempestuous relationship with renowned romantic poet Percy Shelley, a role filled by Douglas Booth. Mary Wollstonecraft Godwin, played by Elle Fanning, is painted as a naive but headstrong teenager who grows up fast. In many ways, she's a woman ahead of her time. Bear in mind the tale is set in the 1800s. She and Percy are two outsiders constrained by polite society, but bound together by natural chemistry and progressive ideas that are beyond the boundaries of their age and time. Mary and Percy, who has quite a notorious past, declare their love for one another, and much to her family's horror, they'd run away together, joined by Mary's half-sister Claire, who's also looking to break away and break out. In the midst of growing tension within Mary and Percy's relationship, during their stay at Lord Byron's house at Lake Geneva, the idea for Frankenstein is conceived when a challenge is put to all house guests to write a ghost story. An incredible character is created, which will loom large in popular culture for centuries, although society at that time puts little value in female authors. At the tender age of 18, Mary is forced to challenge this preconception to protect her work and to forge her own identity.
You're listening to Movies First. For more, like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Mary Shelley not only has a female director in Haifaa Al-Mansour, who was responsible for the great movie Wodger, who also co-wrote the piece with Emma Jensen, but two female producers, a female editor and a female composer. Selecting a female director was a conscious decision by producer Amy Baer, who said the theme of the story and what Mary went through was specific to what a woman experiences. Haifaa grew up in Saudi Arabia, in an environment and a landscape where women don't have the same rights as they do in Western culture. As an artist, she's had to fight and struggle to have her own voice heard in much the same way as Mary Shelley did. Although Mary Shelley and Wodger, her previous movie, are set in two different times and different worlds, Mary's story does have some parallels to Wodger's. Both young women were struggling against conservative social structures to pursue their lives. So that's one point. They're both females who unapologetically follow their hearts against the norms and expectations of their societies, without compromise, to achieve personal triumph. Elle Fanning is well cast in the lead and delivers on cue, while Douglas Booth does what's required of him, batting his eyelids and looking pretty. The sets, settings and costumes all hit the mark, as the picture has quite a lush period look. It was shot in Ireland and Luxembourg. My trouble with what was dished up gets down to the direction by Haifaa Al-Mansour. Frequent shots of clouds and over-dramatised scenes were far from impressive. In fact, they took away from my enjoyment of the material. On paper, it must have looked a whole lot more compelling than it turned out to be. In other words, the content was there, but the way it was packaged left something to be desired. The written screed at the end of the film gives you an insight into the fate of the central players. Let me just say that it doesn't make for pretty reading. Mary Shelley has its moments, but it had greater promise than what was delivered. It scores a 6.5 out of 10.
You've been listening to Movies First with Alex First. Subscribe to the full podcast at Audioboom, Stitcher and iTunes, or your favourite podcast distributor. This has been another quality podcast production from Bytes.com.